Good afternoon, and welcome in to another Titan Talk. Kilgoon and Manny joining me once again. And it's, 17th of December, a week before Christmas now.
Ooh.
A Newt just came out.
I've got just the tiniest bit of shopping to do still.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For whom?
For my wife.
We know again. I don't even know if she watches the show. So.
She does not watch the show. I'm not going to say, though, just in case people find her and message her. But no.
Such a weird thing to do. Hey, he's getting you this.
Yeah. No. I've got like her like gift, but I do the little like stocking. So I just need to get like some candy,
bits
some
and pieces,
chapstick. I don't know what stuff you put in, a face mask. I don't know what do you put into a woman's stocking,
like slippers or something, cozy slippers for Christmas, something like that. Pajama. PJs,
oh yeah, I'm back by the way. I'm alive.
Kilgoon's back. I'm back, and obviously the dev stuck over on Monday. Pretty interesting show. We were both in chat, funny enough.
Yeah.
Even though you were out sick, my day off, but we were both like, "I'm gone. The devs are in charge. Let's just make sure it works."
So I was still working from home. I didn't feel awful. I just I was just coughing nonstop, and I was like, nobody wants to be around me.
Coming on a podcast and coughing in people's doesn't sound good.
But I might cough at some point during the show today, but I am feeling better.
That's good. That's good. Well, quick updates on Newt releasing on Tuesday. A couple of hot fixes. First of all, just to start the show as usual, pretty much all related to Newt's Ultimate, which we fixed a couple of issues with her aiming, fixed not being able to cast and going on CD, fixed able to fly around indefinitely, and also getting stuck on map collision. Additionally, for Newt, there was an update to her first ability, her AO1, where the proc of item strength is now going to be 33.33%, so a third of the percent. However, it will proc items each shot.
Yes.
So just a kind of a coefficient change there.
Yeah. It turned out building the, Bluestone Crusher, Heartseeker Wombo combo was just a little excessive. So we got that put into shape pretty quickly.
And then additionally, we also fixed an issue with some of the active items that could cancel god animations as well. Wasn't intended, but that has been updated too.
Yep.
Overall though, I'm trying to touch wood as I say this, but not a ton of bugs so far. I'm sure this chat that we're going to have today.
Yeah, love to hear them.
With chat, please feel free to reach out and ask questions today because we don't have a ton available.
Yeah.
In terms of talk about
our last kind of Q&A show of the year.
Yes. Well, give or take. For me and you, I guess. If we have a guest on Friday, there's a plan to do a recap of the art show real quick while we're on that subject. This is the final day for you to vote in-game on SmitePrime.com for the Yulefest art competition. Head over to there and should be able to find out exactly who you can vote for. You get a couple of votes and make sure you send them in because we'll be reviewing those on Friday for who wins that competition.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see them. Last time I was so impressed by the art that everybody had done, so I'm excited to see.
I think it's even crazier this time from what I saw of them too. So,
people are asking about roadmap. Roadmap is going to be in the new year. Basically, just with the holidays, there's enough uncertainty that I don't want to be like, here's exactly what we're doing, right? I'd rather let people leave for the holidays, come back, reassess, and then do roadmap of where we're going. We have been looking at survey data from the God survey that we sent out. Please, if you haven't answered yet, give it a go. I think that probably the data is, we have enough responses at this point that it's unlikely to change too much. It's kind of like when you're watching election results come in and it's like, once you reach a certain number of ballots reported, it's like, well, it's probably going to go that way. It's like probably not going to change too much at this point. But all the data definitely is useful. Mm-hmm. And, we are talking about like what changes we should make to the God order that we're thinking about for next year. The first few are kind of more locked in, I would say, because we're already pretty far in progress on the first few. But after that, there's still more at play. So, we're just kind of figuring out exactly where things will land for next year. And we'll do roadmap as soon as we can to give you more of an update on that. But for now, you've got 4 weeks of fun with the holiday mega patch.
We do. I mean, obviously, on Friday, 2 days away, we're going to be seeing the Geb aspect roll into town with his auto attacks. Then we've also got Kukulkan and we've also got Newt that'll be getting aspects as well throughout the holiday period. Yeah. Don't know the exact dates off the top of my head, but which order it is.
Friday is Geb.
I knew Geb was first.
Then a week from Friday, so the 26th, the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, is Newt aspect. And then I believe it's the January 2nd. The next Friday is Kukulkan aspect.
Yeah.
The Kukulkan aspect, by the way, people seem very excited by it if if views on short form videos aren't any
I saw you data on
representation.
that.
Yeah, it's by far the best performing little short that we did from the show the other day. So
Awesome.
yeah.
So what do we have in chat to talk about today?
When will we give you the winner of the survey? So we may never reveal the full survey results because the thing is that the survey is not the only factor that we would consider in determining what gods to port, right? We also have to consider the workload of various teams, and we have to balance it to make sure that we're not doing gods that are hard for specific teams repeatedly because they wouldn't be able to keep up with the pace that we try and move at. We also need to consider, when we do a survey like this, this hits the most engaged part of our audience. Even if we get a pretty good response rate, it's not going to get the more casual people to respond at the same rate as more engaged people. So what we see is that some gods that historically were popular and monetized really well, like sold skins really well, but were not beloved by the high-end player base, tend to be a little bit underrepresented in that pool. So there's a couple gods in particular that are coming to mind that I'm not going to say right now because I don't want to spoil the results of the poll. But there's a few gods in particular that, like, I know that if we released them, they would be well played and would sell skins well because that's what they did for a decade in Smite.
Yeah.
But people are not voting them that way on this survey. So we just need to factor in all of those things, right? I think this gives us a better data point for what the hardcore player wants than we've had recently. So I think that's great. And we're weighting it heavily. But we do need to also consider, hey, are there other popular gods that just maybe aren't as demanded by the vocal population, but the silent majority, silent plurality, I don't know how much, what percentage, right? But the less vocal players maybe would really want them.
I'm not sure you were, but I bought the Kitty Traveler and didn't get any of the exec prisms. I believe that's already been fixed. We've already.
So
did I roll out
I believe,
that, right?
yeah, I believe we actually ran the script to fix that this morning.
Okay,
so
cool.
If you bought it early yesterday, you would not have gotten a couple things, and those should have been fixed this maybe an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago. So if you log in and you still don't have it, please let me know. But that should be fixed now. And if you bought it after the first hour or two yesterday, it should have been working.
What's the data on the whole CC buffering situation now? Honestly, the devs came on Monday and obviously last week too. They're still looking through the data. No conclusion has been formed yet, and I don't think you're going to see a conclusion until after the new year at the earliest at this point. But that's kind of the state of play there.
Plans to fix curios selling themselves as soon as minions spawn. I have not seen this. I have played several games.
Sorry, what was that one?
Since the update came out. Curios selling themselves when minions spawn. I have not seen this. If you have any more details, I would be interested to see because I don't think we've had that reported yet. Can I text Bruce Buffer and ask him if I can port his announcer pack?
I hated them. That voice pack for me is so awkward. Just because Bruce Buffer knew nothing about the game whatsoever, and you can tell he's just pronouncing every single word. Yeah. I hated them. It's just very, very strange.
Yeah, interesting guy.
Stallone, stop asking about that bug. It's being looked at.
He wanted us. So after we had already agreed to do the voice pack with him for like a fixed amount of money, he was like, "Oh, that doesn't include the It's Time," which is like
the famous one.
The famous line. He's like, "You'll have to pay me basically the same amount that you've already agreed to pay me
just for that one
if you want me to do that one line as a recording." And we were like, "Yeah, no, sorry, dude." So it was he's an interesting guy, cool to talk to, but I don't think that he would just be like, "Yeah, sure, for free, bring it on over to the new game."
Had it since Curio's release. The starting Curio sells itself when the first minion responds. I'd not heard of that one before.
I have never seen that happen.
Is anybody else in chat seeing that with the Curio selling? Just while we've got more people in chat also saying, because I don't think I've seen it unless you're using an auto builder or something like that. I'm guessing this could be a cause, but I'll make a note and have the team take a look. No one else.
One person knows. Yes. One yes. Is it
get that.
Maybe a specific mode or any further details?
See, the thing is details is always the key for us of like being able to track down exactly where it could be.
or maybe a specific system that you're playing on has some weird thing happening. But yeah, shouldn't be doing that, and not something that I am super aware of. Who is Bruce Buffer? Bruce Buffer is most well known for being the announcer of the UFC, but he announces fights. He's like a
his
ring
brother's
announcer.
the one that does the boxing, right?
Yeah, his brother is Michael Buffer.
Yeah, that's
who
right,
does
that's
the let's get ready to rumble.
So one went let's get ready to rumble. The
Please
other
don't
one
sue
it's
me.
time, and it
Yeah,
worked out perfectly.
yeah.
Yep. But yeah, they are ring announcers basically.
Versus AI. It might be broken in versus AI. That's
I will make a note. And
yeah.
let the
Versus
team know.
AI might be a thing. That sure. We might take a look at that.
Yeah, I'll let the team know.
It happens every mode for me though. Playing on PC manual build. That's not a thing that I have seen. So we'll ask the team if someone can take a look at. But if anybody else has any more details on times that's happened, that would help us chase it down.
Also, smite2.com/bugs, especially if we're not live on the show, you can also go there and send the bugs directly to the dev team that does get reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
There's announcement. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, it's like sometimes there have been like 2 posts on Reddit in the past couple weeks where people are like, why does this game have horrible performance? For some reason, this is the only game that I'm jittering all over the place. And then response like, oh, my cat was chewing through my
saw
cords.
that one.
And there was another one that was like, this game has horrible performance on my PC. And he was like, oh, I cleaned my computer and I forgot to plug my heatsink and fan back into the motherboard, so my CPU wasn't being cooled and it was throttling itself. It's like, there are obviously this is a different one. This is an in-game thing, but like the number of times we get complaints that end up being tied to something going wrong on the person's system is kind of wild.
I think the base level is like, it's going to be our fault until we find out it's not our fault is kind of the assumption most of the time.
Yeah, we always assume it's something we've done wrong.
Yeah,
but like
we
when
will
it turns
do that
out
too.
to be
They're
like
what could be going wrong with these computers? Oh, their cat was eating it.
Their cat was eating it. Yeah,
fix
well,
cats.
okay, got it. SMITE 2 is the only UE5 game I get consistent performance on. Thank you.
They get consistent performance.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
UE5 is an interesting engine. It does a lot of really good stuff, but the team has done a lot to optimize it as much as possible for a game like ours. We're continuing to work on it. There's more conversations every day. We're putting more small optimizations in, but like to be able to run basically like a UE5 game at 200, 300 FPS is not a common thing. Most UE5 games are not built to do that.
I think it's also the balance point of trying to make sure it works on lower end machines too, which can really have a caveat too.
How is Newt doing? I think she feels good with int, but her AA build path feels bad. We don't really have great data for the first 24 hours or so.
Yeah.
So
it's only been a day, right?
Yeah, we'll find out.
And there was
more.
a few bugs as well, which we've been resolving, so we'll probably get more data in the coming days. Honestly, you're probably not going to get much data from us regarding that. Maybe some on Friday, but if not, it'll be after the holidays. So, as we are closing on the holidays, as a reminder, we will be going offline for a few days.
I played 1 or 2 games yesterday, and my immediate thought was that something about the game looked better. I don't know what it was, but great work. Yeah, we've continued to work on just like tweaking the lighting and the materials in the Conquest map. And I think it's just continuing to feel better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this update, we added a little bit of the tower pad in the center and stuff, we added a little bit of like dirt and whatnot. So it felt more integrated to the environment around it. A lot of like, it's all those like little things that add up and make it feel a lot more consistent. I walked by Justin's desk today and he gave me a sneak peek of the lighting stuff that he's been working on for Joust.
Oh.
And
Joust getting line updates. Go.
Yeah. It's looking good.
Nice.
At one point we had said that might come sooner than later, but he took the time to do it a little bit more
fleshed out.
Yeah, a little more like he could have just ported the lighting from Conquest and not done anything else, but he took the time to do a little bit more details on it. So probably maybe the second patch of next year, but by the time that we get a chance to play on it internally, get any feedback in and whatnot. But I think that'll again feel like a good improvement, and then we can take a look at arena lighting. And, I think that all these little things really help the game feel a lot more polished.
Any plans to add the missing announced packs from SMITE 1? If they're not already in SMITE 2, there may still be 1 or 2 coming, but some of them will not be ported over just because of licensing deals and stuff like that too. So there may still be 1 or 2 left to come over, but other than that, there won't be that many more.
Yeah.
Why add Surturul instead of adding him? That isn't Surturul. Surturul you can control. The devs mentioned that last week. It is technically, it'll visually looks like a Surturul at the moment, but it's not going to be the same as a Surturul. That's why we didn't add it.
Yeah, Surturul is actually much more technically challenging than this. Yeah. Because Surturul, you can aim as you're landing, and there's more that goes into that. I'll just leave it at that. Aspect symbols should be present on the HUD. This way, when seeing random gameplay, viewers have this info without tabbing to scoreboard. That's actually a good point. We could put the aspect on the god portraits. That's a good point.
I know we were
talking about just 30 minutes ago. We were talking about on the loading screen.
Finally getting
it
that
should
on the
be there.
screens,
but putting it on portraits is also a good idea. And
it does make sense rather than having to tab as well just to find that information.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that.
And to be clear,
no timeline on any of this stuff, right? But like
most of these things we do want as well. It's kind of getting round to them and realizing we've got a window to do so, and also trying to do multiple things at the same time that'll be in the same sort of area. So, but we are looking at aspect displays being a little bit more visual for enemies and teams.
Yeah, I don't think I'd heard the portraits before though. It's a good call.
Yeah.
What about the French announcer pack? Yeah, I don't think we did the foreign language announcer packs.
I don't think so either.
I don't know about the rights to those. I don't know.
I think that's a problem with some of them. We just don't have the rights for some of them as well. So
we might not. We would just have to look and try and find if we do or don't.
There's an idea in my head of like I could just take the French announcer part, put it in Google Translate, and just say those words, and it'll be terrible.
Yeah, be great.
Absolutely butchered.
Oui.
Je m'appelle Hindu man. Je suis double kill. Like, I don't know. I
don't speak French at all.
Not at all. I can say Jali à la piscine. That's the only thing I remembered.
Jali à la piscine.
Jali à la piscine.
Piscine is
I
beach?
went to the swimming pool.
Swimming pool.
I'm pretty sure is what it is. But that's all I really know.
Yeah. I can speak a little Spanish, but that's about as far as I go.
I am English and lazy. And that's why I came to America. I wish I learned Spanish, though, to be honest. I learned more German than I did Spanish because we had to choose way back when. I got to choose German or Spanish. And went, I'm more than likely going to use German more than Spanish. Then moved to America where there's Mexican people who speak Spanish all the time. And I'm like, oh, man, this will be so useful.
Yeah, completely. So I grew up in California. And in California, the school I went to, your choices were Spanish or French. Mm-hmm. And I was like, everyone here speaks Spanish. I should probably learn Spanish, right? Yeah. And it's been much more helpful for my life. Like I've used it a lot of times. I sound like a very stereotypical California white person trying to speak Spanish, but I know the words. I can get by. So
I'm just gonna make a note of those language packs to investigate that as well. Sorry for this sidetrack. It happens. Where's Slaughterhouse Jack in the classic chest? He keeps spamming it. It's not in there yet, I guess, but it will be coming because all the classic skins end up in those chests.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, Flairboot speaks French because he couldn't take Spanish because it didn't line up with his other classes.
Sacre bleu.
Yeah. Que triste.
I don't know what that means.
How sad.
I don't remember what sacre bleu means. I just know it's negative.
What's the deal with the devs hating on Thoth?
Is it a deal? Like, I mean,
it's not a deal. No, I think it was just their take Monday, right? Yesterday or Monday when they were asked about Thoth, and Flairboot has is associated with Thoth, so kind of it was a bit of a dig at Flairboot as well. But no, I think there's nothing wrong with Thoth. I think he's a fun character. I think that he's always been not the tippity top of popularity, not the bottom of popularity. I would say most of the survey results we're seeing so far tend to line up with that. So if we're having to prioritize the most important people to bring over first, probably wouldn't be at the very, very top.
I've not deep dove the data, but I want to feel like a lot of people would have gods on their list that they want to play themselves because they're enjoyable, but also lower them down because they don't like playing against them at the same time. It's kind of a balance point. So everyone still wants you to get an announcer pack, though.
I don't understand that. I'm not.
You can get hyped.
I can get hyped. I can get hyped. I can get excited. Any plans to add more options to custom games? I'd love to be able to mess around more with the match settings and customize. Apparently, Awesome Knots had a version of this. Awesome Knots, great game.
Fantastic game.
It's back.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. They got bought by Ubisoft at some point,
okay.
and I want to say it's Ubisoft. And anyway, they reverted to an old build that actually worked, and you can play it again. There's like 12 people playing it online. It's not like it's not popular, but
custom games for us, it's something we'd like to do. I guess
something that we did in SMITE 1, we gave you a lot more custom games options.
Yeah.
Something we'd definitely like to get to longer term, but it's one of those things where it's like putting time into alternate game modes when the core game modes had a lot of obvious room for improvement didn't seem like the best use of our time, right? Because most players are going to engage with Conquest, Arena, Joust, Assault, right? So we should be working to make the things that most people engage with the best that they can be.
Yeah.
So we're starting with that, right? And I think that, so far, I'd love to hear chat's feedback, but so far I think that people feel like Conquest is in a pretty good state after yesterday's update.
I'm only laughing because it'll be a month and a half, and it's like the map's
awful. Yeah,
we gotta do more. So we're in that early glow stage.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that I don't know. I played maybe 5 games yesterday.
Okay.
So I played a decent amount yesterday because I always like to play, more than I might on a normal day on patch day because I'm like I need to make sure things are working. Make sure things are feeling. And pretty much every game I played felt really good and close and. The flow felt good.
Cool.
I might maybe small sample size, right? But it seems like people are feeling better about the direction of Conquest. Now maybe then it's like, okay, what do we start looking at next if we feel like we finally got Conquest into a decent state? Will the Wandering Path reset next patch? No, not next patch. I think 2 patches. I think 2 patches is what we're currently aiming for.
What's that, sorry?
When the Wandering Path resets again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's the second patch in January is when.
So probably end of Jan, give or take.
Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure it's the second patch in January we're targeting for that.
How we use the survey data, we already mentioned, but for the most part, we'll look through, we'll maybe do some adjustments based off what we can do on our end. But yeah, the data is useful, We're going to read the data. That's how we're going to use it. And then process it and then go, can we make changes? And should we adjust things that are what we were aiming for to begin with?
Yeah, I would say, we were looking at it yesterday, and it kind of felt like there was a clear, top 22 gods. And not necessarily the order that we would do them in, but, just the way the data had panned out, it seemed like there were,
this is
the top third, because there's 61 left, right?
Yeah.
The top third seemed like they were
clear compared to
clear wins to do. So,
excuse me.
Bless you. I thought I would be the one coughing.
Yeah, I think I'm. You may have positive him.
I'm
I've not
sorry?
seen you today. I don't think you should.
Sorry.
Maybe I'm just getting something. I got really ill last year as well, so I'm like, no, don't do it again.
Oh, super minor note because I see myself on the screen. I'm wearing a Star Siege Dead Zone hoodie today. Our colleagues down the hall at Prophecy Games make this game. If you've not heard of it, it is a co-op FPS roguelike. It's kind of sci-fi-y. And Dead Zone Rogue is actually the name of the version that is out now. And Dead Zone Rogue has a big content drop coming today.
Oh, do they? Okay,
so I wore this intentionally because if you have played Dead Zone Rogue and you want to check it out again,
go back through.
If not, don't. If you're not playing SMITE 2, I'd always prefer you're playing a game that is made by our sister companies. So check it out.
Is it on console?
It is on console. Yeah, it's on PS5 and Xbox. It's fun. If you like FPS roguelites, it does it well. So yeah, check it out if you're interested.
Where's the data for the survey? Is it private collected? Yeah, when you click that survey, it says at the top, we will not be sharing this data. I just want to point that out there. It says we probably won't be sharing the data. And everyone clicked accept on that before doing it. However, still ask for the data.
The name of the game, it is Dead Zone Rogue.
Dead Zone Rogue.
Yeah, maybe you can pull up the Steam page if it's on, just so people can see it.
See my personal account.
I think the new update that came out today, or is coming out today, is called Apophis. I don't know where they got that name from.
Where?
And I'm super retro today. I found this ultra old SMITE Tactics shirt in my drawer, which Hand of the Gods was briefly called SMITE Tactics. So I don't know. I just wore it.
I'll throw this up on stream real quick. There's no audio for this, but Dead Zone Rogue, you can get this today. Came out today with the content, but that's a little look at the Dead Zone. If I go this screen rather,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, look, I'll try to skip to some gameplay real quick. But PvE, play with your friends, go through space.
Yeah. So
I've not played a ton of it myself, but I do know it's like one of those go-to games.
Yeah, I played like maybe 10 hours. You know, like it's very fun. It's more fun if you're playing with friends. But again, play SMITE 2. If you're not playing SMITE 2, give it a try. It's fun. Would I judge you for playing Infinity Nikki instead of SMITE or Dead Zone? Maybe just a little bit. Any plans to release skins for the gods who don't have any, or even release the ported god and skin on release? So yes, we do have plans. Every god should get a skin.
That's goal number one, isn't it, really, of like give a god a skin in time?
Yeah.
Not necessarily right at release.
Yeah. And I think that like, some of them will take a little bit longer than others, but we try and get it done as quickly as we can. Releasing it at the same time we release the god, probably not something that's going to happen, because normally we're working kind of up till the wire to get all the effects finalized, all the animations finalized, everything. Like some details about abilities are changing, which then leads to effects needing to change and yada, yada, yada. And trying to do that for both the god and the skin at the same time kind of like doubles the amount of work that we have to do. So we prefer to wait to do the skin, or at least to finalize the skin. Sometimes parts of it are in development until after the god's kit is locked and we know exactly what the timing is going to be on all the FX and all that. So that's why we don't tend to release a skin for a god at the same time we release a god. Some other games that you'll see that will do this, that will release a new character and the skin, they have pipelines where they will lock a character and just sit on it for 3 or 6 months before it releases.
Yeah.
That's not the way we work. We get stuff done and we get it out to you as quickly as we can to get feedback on it. It's the way we like to do it. So it's just a different development approach.
Who's currently the best-selling god in SMITE 2?
Oh,
I mean, god's kind of...
Well,
I was going to say, in terms of skins, but I mean, as a god, it's normally the god pack, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
If it's a god individually, because we normally people buy the god pack because it's probably one of the best gaming deals in gaming.
Yeah, in terms of like god unlocks, historically it was always like Nuwa and Thanatos and Loki were some of the top few.
Scum, basically.
Yeah, because they're all attractive, well-known characters, that seem cool / edgy, Could we have a survey regarding new god concepts the community might be interested in? I mean, we could, but we probably wouldn't. I would say whenever we do something like that, then the community tends to divide on, oh, I want this or I want this. And they get mad that they didn't get the thing that they didn't get. And it takes so long that by the time it does come out, people are like, yeah, we knew that was coming 6 months ago. Why do we care anymore, right? So we find that it's one of the few things that I think it really does make a lot of sense to just kind of keep internal, do the thing that we think is going to be the coolest, and get it to you guys. Because the other thing is that a lot of times the initial concept of what a god is going to be will change pretty drastically during the course of development because the initial kit isn't fun or
doesn't flow.
Yeah. Bari became much more focused on the bells as part of her development because not the initial kit was bad, but it's just the thing that people had the most fun with when they were playing Bari in playtest was the bell. Mm-hmm. And they were like, I want to do more with the bells. And it's okay, so let's lean into
how do we do more with the bells,
right? And I think that a lot of times you find the fun when you're actually creating and playing a game, and you really can't just be on my whiteboard, I will tell you what the ideal SMITE 2 character is. It just doesn't work. What traveler did the best financially? I think it was either Beach Babe Aphrodite or the shark Sobek. Land shark, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's land shark. Yeah.
When's the next Twitch drop recolor? Do you have a plan for that?
No, I think I heard the name of it, but we can't discuss the name of it.
Okay.
But that's next year.
That's fine. Yeah.
Like December's one is already out in the Dodgy, but next one will be out with the next update.
You can still get the Dodgy. It's still live?
Yeah, still live this week until Friday. So make sure you get your Dodgy one. And it's definitely working this week. Hooray.
Of course it was Beach Babe. There's a reason why we make these skins, guys.
Who was saying?
Like,
Yep.
it is our job to make the things that people want to buy, so we do that. With Neath and Nuwa being very popular and selling skins a lot, I always thought it was interesting. They never got a tier 5. We had talked about doing Neath tier 5 internally a few times, but it always got kind of like, I don't know. There's kind of a divide between how popular Neath is and how much people want to buy Neath skins and how much the community likes Neath and is willing to accept a Neath tier 5, right? So we kind of talked ourselves out of it a lot of times when it was like, hey, this would be really cool and it would do well and it would make a lot of money, but the community would rage, and maybe if they rage so much, then it wouldn't actually do well. And
some of the decisions definitely scared of community sentiment is part of the discussion we always have with things.
Yep.
I'd say.
Yeah, and like Nuwa, the only reason why Nuwa never did is because Nuwa got like 1 million tier 4s in Smite 1, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, basically, she was just always skinned too recently when it got time to do a tier 5, and we're like, oh, she just got a tier 4 in the last event. We can't do a tier 5 for her here. But she would have been a good choice, yeah.
With not being the last god in Smite 1, the most recent in Smite 2, did the player base increase in Smite 2? She may be a newer god. Too early to tell, Vaffy. It's literally a day since Nuke came out, so maybe more data in the coming weeks.
Yesterday did look like it was up a little bit, but
Cool.
Every patch day is kind of up a little bit. I think our goal is like, this has been a tough year for live service games in general.
For sure.
And I think that like, the fact that we are, some patches were growing a little bit. Some patches were kind of stable. At worst, we're like maybe a tiny bit down in like what should have been our bad time of year. We were maybe a tiny bit down, but like not as far down as I probably would have guessed we would have been, especially if you look at some of the competitor games. Like I think the fact that we've just been able to, hold pretty steady in this current gaming climate is pretty solid. And I think that hopefully we're able to stack on some growth during the better times of year when player numbers do tend to grow.
Yeah, I mean the best thing you can do is the dev team just continues to work on the game and try and polish it as much as possible, continue to trend in the right directions, and hopefully we get good feedback, which the community seems positive for a second.
Yeah.
Great time for it as well, Christmas period.
Yeah, people are talking about Supervive in chat.
It's just announced, didn't it?
Yeah, just announced. Very sad. Like I'm always sad whenever one of these games shuts down, because it's clear like there's a team just like us that's sitting in another building working on this game and putting their heart into it. Mm-hmm. And I think there was a lot to like about the game. Everybody has their own thoughts about why it did or didn't find an audience.
For sure.
But I thought it was a cool game. I played a few rounds and I thought it was enjoyable. But their CCU was like 200.
Yeah.
So it's like
there's a lot of games that I play that don't have high CCU, and I can see their community's upset about it. But I understand like it takes time for some games to develop and continue to grow as well. Yeah. So
it's like, but it's been crazy this year. The number of games that have had like really big launches that have then just fallen off. Like I was looking at like Mecha Break has similar decline. Fragpunk similar decline. It's just been. It's been a very challenging year for live service.
A lot of big games though as well. That's the thing, and solo plays and stuff too.
Known bug of sound loss during loading screens. When will this be fixed? So we've seen this happen rarely, but we don't have a consistent what causes this. We can't tell what it's tied to. And when we can't determine what's causing it, it's very difficult for us to address it. If anybody has seen this happen and understands more, hey, I think it happens more likely when this is happening. That would help us diagnose what's going wrong here, because we've looked at it, but because it seems completely random, it's been hard for us to track down. We're continuing to look at it, but if you have any more details, definitely helpful. Is Friday the last show of the year, or are we doing one Monday?
Good question.
Depends. I might do one on Monday. It depends on if I have time to put the kind of year in review presentation together. If I do not, we might not do a show. If I do,
Friday guaranteed.
Yeah.
Monday maybe.
I'm gonna see how tomorrow goes, because tomorrow's kind of my time to put the show together.
And then we won't have another one until January 2nd.
Yeah.
I guess is the next one, which will be the Friday after New Year 2026. Crazy.
Any development on the Sprout icon for new players? This was one of my live design ideas.
Sprout icon?
Yeah, I talked about this on a very old Titan Talk as like a thing that we were talking about in terms of new players, where it's like, so if you ever play Final Fantasy 14?
I know, yeah, a little bit, but it's got like a signal of like you're a new player. Or
when you're a new player, a Sprout appears after your name.
Yeah.
Right? And it kind of lets the rest of the players know, oh, hey, this guy's new, I should help him, right?
Sure.
But
sure. That's a great idea.
I think that like in an ideal world where people were nice,
the big keyword there.
That would be a great idea for SMITE 2. I still like it, but I think that what I have been convinced would most likely happen is that if we showed it to enemies, that's a non-starter, because then they would just target you down, right? Because they are mean people. If we showed it to allies, it's 50-50 as to whether they would be like, oh, this is a new player, I should give them a little grace, or as to whether they're like, F this game, I don't deserve new players in my matches, F matchmaking, F Hi-Rez, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things that's like, in PvE games and co-op games, maybe it's a better idea.
Definitely.
Right?
In friendlier games, yes, but in a competitive game, bit trickier. Also, just because you've got a Sprout icon doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be bad at the game either, but that's what the association will be of like, oh, well.
Yeah. That's one of the things like...
Because I've known plenty of people that have been playing for years and are still in like gold. No offense, it's fine to be in gold. But then there's new players that come in the game and immediately like take to it like a duck in water and like easily obsidian.
Yeah. It's like, some people are just born with like natural athletic talent, right?
Sure.
In the same way, some people are just born with natural gaming talent, right? It's like, I don't know if you saw this guy. I think he's a wide receiver for, I don't know, I want to say like the Niners or somebody. But or maybe he's a basketball. I don't even remember. I'm screwing the story up completely.
Sport guy.
But regardless, this guy in college played lacrosse. And then switched sports completely, and now is playing in like, I forget if it's the NBA or NFL, because I just heard this story in passing. But it's like, can you imagine, like, I'm so good at sports that I don't have to have played a sport for like 4 years, and within a year I can be a professional athlete, right?
Someone said Pat Spencer.
Pat Spencer, sure. I don't even remember what sport he plays. But I heard this story and I was like, man, just like thinking about the natural like proclivity you must have for being an athlete, like it's wild.
He's seen Forkin. I need to get that name right. I hate it. Hawkin, that name is just because it's so language. I've seen some games give you a small SR boost of 5-10% if your teammates consistently commend you and don't get reported, leave games. I do like the idea of trying to do a commend system in the long run in the game. I don't think it's anything anytime soon, but some sort of commendation system. I'll be real.
Yeah.
It was in SMITE 1, but it didn't really do much. In my mind, I think it would be something to revisit in the future for sure. And I do think a commend system could be useful if we can tie it into something that the players want, like you're going to look at it and go, I want to get commended and I want to commend, but most of that just requires us to give you free stuff, which, all we do, I'm not trying to be rude, but we just give you free stuff all the time. So trying to find those windows of what's going to be beneficial, I guess.
Yeah, I think that like...
I guess SR boosting is one thing.
Yeah, SR boosting, worshiper boosting, like I think that there are more things that we should be doing as part of the end of match experience to basically a successful end of match lobby. If you look at like other games that do this, right? They both like celebrate, like, look at the good things that you did. So it's like, even if I lost, I did this thing and I should feel good about myself.
You won 42% of your games this year.
Yeah, like,
good job.
Like, you were in the top 80% of stunning characters, it's like all this like, random stats that are most likely made up, but make you feel like, well, we have lost, but I'm not the reason that we lost.
It wasn't me. Yeah.
Right. And then like shows like the MVPs, and it's like, oh, well, the whole reason why we lost is because this one other asshole on the other team was really good. And if it wouldn't have been for him, we would
completely different story.
An end of match lobby experience is really intended to make you feel like losing was not your fault and you should play again, right? Like, and we do none of that. We're just like, game's over. Here's your rewards.
You want to go again?
Yeah, right.
You want to go again? Yeah.
And like, there's so much that we could do to make that a smoother flow. It needs animations. Yeah, it needs all that. Like, but like, just adding animations to the existing flow doesn't do a damn thing, right? It needs to have like the
hook almost.
The whole like
why you want to do it. Yeah.
Like, oh, look at these great plays. Like it just gives you the whole like feel of like that was a great game and a good use of my time, and I should do that again.
Did you know only 20% of players got a kill after dying 5 times in a row? You did a good job.
Yeah. Can we get an option in settings to be able to choose which display the game starts on? That's something that we need to do. That is a known issue that we need to do for sure. I believe that it just automatically opens on whatever your primary monitor is in Windows. So you can always change your primary monitor in Windows, but I know that's kind of a little bit annoying.
As a visual bug of Post Mastery 10 infinitely increasing in brought up. Yeah, it's been brought up. It is to be worked on as well. We are aware of that one.
Duel versus bots. I mean, maybe. I don't know if the bots support that right now. I mean, I guess they do because they support Joust, and it's basically Joust. That probably is doable. I'll make a note. I'll ask. It might be easy to do.
In my mind, it probably is, but also custom game go 1v1, right?
Yeah, you could just do a custom game 1v1.
You can decide what god you're against too. Yeah, I'm just saying it's technically there, but I understand it. I guess it's also for newer players with the bots as well, because you're kind of wanting to teach them more than anything else. And 1v1 is a very specific game mode. I know we've got a few hardcore fans of the 1v1, but the game's not really designed around 1v1s, being real with you. It's a team game. Any more talk of a rematch button would be rare. I think that's the reason. I think the idea of a rematch button could be cool. But again, like getting all 6 players, 10 players in a lobby to go rematch one more time feels like almost wasted, redundant effort in regards to it. If anything, maybe in a custom game, like if you played a 5v5 in a custom, you can go again and it'll put you in a lobby. Would be nice, but quality of life things.
Yeah. Win Zeus aspect. This is one we will get to eventually. I think that there is still some debate both in the community and here internally about like, does Zeus aspect need to be the shield?
Dun, dun, dun.
Because I don't think most of us really feel like the shield is a healthy play pattern.
Yeah.
But if we do anything else for the aspect, our player's just going to be like, but why isn't it the shield? So I think that we are trying to figure out what a good Zeus aspect would be if it isn't the shield.
I think with the aspects as well, if you've noticed, the team did say that like when they get an idea that could be useful for an aspect, that's when they look to utilize it. Kukulkan's a good example of that coming out over the holiday period, where he didn't get an aspect for a long time, but then the team found a sort of avenue they like the direction of, and that's why we've gone with that. So if they've not got an aspect yet, it doesn't mean they're not going to get one. It's just trying to find where the twist in the character will be and what makes sense.
Any ETA on fixing the constant crashes for Linux users? We don't officially support Linux beyond Steam Deck. So if you are crashing on Linux non-Steam Deck, it's kind of, like user beware.
There's only so much we can do.
There's only so much we can do. Has there been any talks about bringing another game mode to the game? Maybe eventually, but I think that we have the top most played game modes right now that accounted for 90% plus of all the games in SMITE 1. We could always bring over another one, but you run the risk of one of two things. Either you do a ton of work and nobody plays it, which is what happened with basically every mode we ever did, or they play it a lot for 2 days and then forget about it, right? And if you're going to do all that work, aren't you better off just making the modes that people like better? Or you make something that people do like to the point that it fractures the player base and you now are splitting the population between queues without growing the population, right? So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever be the case where we don't do any other game mode in the future, but it's just not something we're looking for short term at the moment.
Yeah, not in the short term. What's the UI team currently working on? Right now, I think mostly on optimizations, to be honest. So
yeah,
there were a lot of the weird. We were getting a lot of performance issues that were tied to UI elements.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of work that they're doing in the background to separate different UI elements onto different canvases to make sure that like things that cause HUD invalidation don't trigger ideally ever, but at least as often. Certain HUD elements, we completely rebuilt the chat window for this update. I don't know if anybody noticed because you probably didn't, but it used to be that when the chat window was open on, I want to say it was on PS5, you would lose like 10 frames just from having the chat window open. And that doesn't happen anymore, so that's good. But yeah, a lot of the UI stuff we're doing right now is more just like, hey, we should just improve the game and not like the performance of the game and not new features. There are a few things that we're working on that are more new feature, but nothing to talk about quite yet. I keep wondering, when is the third guy going to talk? I need more sleep. Yeah. Manny's, he's very quiet today. He forgot to wear his headphones, so he can't hear us.
I mean, he can. He's in the same room.
Oh, true.
I was going to say.
True. Why do we wear headphones anyway?
In case we have call-ins, but also, I guess just to make sure mics are working.
I guess.
Laptop as well. If we use desktop, I should say. In case we need to hear audio.
What is your favorite meal for lunch? I'm going to expand that to of the lunches that we get here at work.
It's a good way of looking at it, yeah.
Yeah.
You get some variation, but you end up defaulting to one on the list each time. But it's generally all the local places that are open, like Jason's Deli and...
Had some Caribbean Fiesta today. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah, a little jerk chicken.
I have a really bad habit of just not eating during the day. It's just a bad habit I've grown up with, so... Is the art showcase on Friday? Yes, Friday we will showcase the art competition winners that were voted on by the community. You can head over to SMITEprime.com right now to vote on the art competition and have those winners, and we'll be here on Friday.
There's people asking about brand new God 2026. We aren't ready to confirm any roadmap stuff yet, but we definitely, something we are considering, I would say. I think that based on the feedback that we have seen, people still are missing a lot of the Smite 1 gods, and there's a lot of demand for those. I think there's also some demand for new gods. The question is just, is it the time? If it is, when do we do it? Who do we do if we do a new god? There's a lot of conversation to be had there, and nothing that I can commit to right now, but we definitely see the feedback that I think there's maybe a little bit more interest in a new god now than there was last summer, when we went all in on just like, let's just get through as many classic gods as we can in a period of time. So definitely still thinking about it. Are the gods with the lowest results in the poll going to have some kind of rework to make them more interesting? I will say not necessarily, but potentially. I think that there's multiple reasons why gods are unpopular, right? Chat doesn't like it when I say this, but monstrous characters are not popular, right?
Yeah.
And so if, I'm just gonna who's a monstrous character? Camazotz, great example. Camazotz is a weird looking bat creature thing, right? I could give Camazotz the coolest kit in the game, and he will be in the bottom third of gods, no matter what I do.
Just because he's a monster.
Because he's a weird looking monster dude, right? And high-end ranked players will be like, no, if he's good, we're going to play him. It doesn't matter what he looks like. Not to most players. And I understand that that's a difficult thing to wrap your mind around. And I think that's the thing a lot of game developers don't get, right? A lot of hero shooters and character-driven games that come out with a ton of weird-looking characters, and the games fail because people don't want to play as weird-looking characters. I think that a good game will have a mix of characters, so you have some monsters, you have some attractive people, but you can't just do weird niche characters and expect your game to be successful in 2025, right? So, Camazotz,
Good example.
Good example of a character that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think he has a home in the game, but is it worth reworking his kit when he's going to be as popular as he is regardless? I think the characters that we would look at more are characters that maybe pulled slightly higher than we thought that they were going to, but we're like less popular in Smite 1, right?
Right.
Because then it's like,
so pulled
maybe
high,
there's something about the idea of this character that you like divorced from the actual gameplay of them, right? Because then it's like, I saw this character, I was like, cool looking character. Yeah, I clicked on her, right? Maybe that is something we would think about more so.
How do you guys balance having attractive characters to the more weird ones for diversity? I guess part one of that is because we're based on mythological beings.
Yeah.
We kind of always kind of default to like, well, is it a mythological god or creature in the first place that we can kind of go with? And we're always kind of aiming, from experience, we're always kind of aiming at the more popular ones. I know we've done some niche ones at times, but I feel like sometimes that comes down to a bit of a sprinkle away from the norm, I guess. I mean, Cthulhu's a good example of a random one there. But like seeing some bigger figures in mythology come through that are beasts versus,
Yeah.
I don't think we're necessarily out there going, oh, we need a hot female. Let's find.
No. It's more just like,
there,
what are the names? Like, what are interesting names,
yeah.
right? Or else, one of the ways that we usually used to think of characters was like, who do you want to put on the box of your video game?
Yeah, sure.
Right? And because to some extent, it's like, it's kind of like if I go to Toys R Us, which is not a store that exists anymore. If I go to Target to buy an action figure,
Toys R Us, okay, yeah,
right, and I'm walking down the action figure aisle. What action figure am I going to stop to pick up, right? And that's kind of the way game storefronts work.
Sure.
It's like I'm scrolling down a bunch of box art pictures, and it's like, what causes me to stop and click on it, saying, "Oh, that's cool," right? When Cthulhu was our box, people stopped and clicked on it because that was cool. When Avatar: The Last Airbender was our box, people stopped and clicked on it because that was cool.
Yeah.
And
then you got Zeus, Thor, Bellona, kind of all go-tos as well in terms of identifiable figures as well.
You know? So it's like, I think that that's always been the way that I try to think of it is like, what's the coolest thing that we could, put on the box that's going to make people want to play the game? And sometimes you make a good decision, sometimes make a bad decision. And I will say, you do want to keep in mind like the diversity of like, you can't just do
hot females.
You can't just do like burly dudes. You can't just do like, generally speaking, when we used to plot out like a year of, 6 gods or whatever we would do in a year, we would try to make sure that as we had the whole roster, we did have a blend of like, we didn't accidentally get too many creatures or too many, but like if there were 3 really cool creature ideas and we were like, all 3 of these creatures are going to look awesome on our box and people are going to want to play the game when they see these creatures, then we might do it. Right.
Are you aware about the Ho-Yi 1 bug where if the enemy is close to a wall, it doesn't do double damage without the rebound? Brackets already reported with your form. Then in that case, we know because you reported with the form. Thank you for the report.
Yeah.
The team will definitely take
I have heard that. I think they've looked into it. I'm not sure though. I started playing Smite with VTubers were the cover art. Yeah. Like it is incredible how much that matters. And it's something people don't think about, right? Because it's like why would you pick gods based on how they look on your box art? But it makes a huge difference.
When will you have the 2026 Roadmap Titan Talk Show? Probably in New Year is the expectation. And based off the roadmap, we'll tell you how many we're going to go into. Might not be the whole year in one go because it changes a lot, but we'll probably announce a few of the coming gods. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as we do that, you'll be like, what's next? Because that's what you do.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yep. I guarantee you that day of that show, someone's going to go, so what's after those?
Will we ever get +1 reworks or add-ons? Potentially, yeah. I think that like if we feel like it's something that needs to be revisited, I think that Anubis is still very powerful even without a lot of true +1s. So I think that the reason why we would revisit a god like Anubis would be if we see that he's having a hard time keeping up. Anubis is not having a hard time keeping up based on the data I have seen. So I would say, yeah, he's maybe more akin to how he was in Smite 1, but going back to him isn't as urgent as some gods that are having trouble keeping up with the current roster. How likely is it for a +1 to get reverted? I'll say, we made some changes to like Hunbat's +1s. I think If it's too good, we can go back and make changes, or if it doesn't feel good, we can go back and make changes. Pele's little hop on her knockup, we changed, and I think it feels much better. So there's definitely a chance for it.
Will Odyssey ever return? Never say never is what I'll say, but there's no plans in an Odyssey just yet.
Yeah. I'm not going to read that one. Let's see. My favorite way to come out to see who's coming next is logging into the game and seeing God name coming soon on the Gods tab. Shout out to Omega Strikers, which is where I got that idea from.
Just leave it in there for coming soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So Omega Strikers was the first game that I saw that like was a character-based game that they had like, you know, the silhouettes of their coming soon characters and the dates that they were going to release. And I was like, man, that's such a good idea because it lets you know, oh, I need to log back in to see who this new character is and when I can play him, right? And so that's one of the things I was pushing for when we did SMITE 2 was like, we need to have this so people know, oh, I should come back.
Come back. We definitely have an issue with leaving it on sometimes a little bit early, but that is what it is. You know, it's part of the fun.
Would we all ever pull what pantheons people want more of? I would say we don't really think about, obviously the gods are all from pantheons, but we don't think about pantheons in the same way as the community does as much. We think more about characters.
I think in the early days of SMITE, we definitely did go a bit of a trend of like trying to balance out multiple from each of the pantheons. But as time's gone on, the game's just kind of exploded. The amount of pantheons has increased, and we've really been just like going through good identifiable figures in those mythologies, rather than going, hey, we got to get a support in the Celtic role. You know, it's got to happen, even though they've got one. I'm just saying that as an example. Yeah.
When will we get the option to buy an announcer pack? I burned my remaining legacy gems trying to get Hindu Man's, and I didn't get it.
Rest in peace. I don't know where you won that. That's one of the oldest ones that people still want to use too.
Yeah, they love you, man.
I hate it. I legitimately I can't watch streams of my announcer packs on it personally because I'm just like I can't hear myself anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah. At some point, it's gonna sound really dumb, but we don't have the tech to sell announcer packs directly right now. That was the way that we could get them in the game, was to put them in a big chest and let you buy them. We would need to go back and update that screen of the UI to add the ability to buy announcer packs, and it's not something we have right now. At some point we'll do it, but we've been prioritizing other UI things.
Man, I give up. What were you saying, man, I give up to, Hashiga? Your question was, can we have a feature where the god portrait is basically the skin you're wearing in-game? Having the god name is enough under the username, and it would be easily identifiable in-game when some of the skins almost completely change the appearance of some gods.
So we've tried this in the past, and we've found that it's more confusing than you would think it is. And players do not like it when the portraits change in-game. We do obviously change the card art on the loading screen, and that lets you show off what skin you're playing as. But we have found that players prefer that we do not change the portraits in game. Sorry, that's kind of it's just a disagree response, but yeah, sorry.
People can ask the question. We can always try and give a straight answer as best we can. It is 2:00 though. This is kind of flown through, even though I don't think did we really answer much today. No.
I don't know. I answered some questions.
We did.
I pontificated a little bit.
Questions, but it is time for
one more question.
Reminder: Friday's show. We will go over the art competition winners. Probably take some more general Q&A. Geb Aspect should be out on Friday as well, so I'm sure we'll hear some feedback relating to that too. And it'll be the last confirmed official Titan Talk of 2025. Maybe there's one on Monday. You'll get more info once we have more info on that front.
I'm in the season. I have a Winter Wonderland Delani today.
Perfect. What's in it? Is it the cranberry one?
I think it's sugar plum.
I want to get them on hint blackberry, which I use the water all the time. What have we got for our last question?
Yeah. I don't understand Tsukuyomi Lego skin because of his 3. I just don't understand what that even is. Why is his 3 Lego?
Trying to think exactly what is the relationship there.
Yeah.
Was it a question though? Can we get a Lego Tsukuyomi skin?
I think that was the question. Yeah. Oh, the pain of stepping on Legos. Oh, Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a bit of a stretch. But
What do you two wish for Christmas?
what do I want for Christmas?
No, wish for Christmas.
Wish for Christmas.
I guess it's a wish rather than a want.
Peace
right?
on earth and goodwill toward man.
Peace in Smite and goodwill towards men and women.
Yeah.
While you play your Smite games with no toxicity, reports of being rude or AFKing in your games, and that all your bugs disappear
I would like
forever.
I think for everybody's sake, I would just like a few months of boring.
That'd make
I feel like the world's just been
You could do with that as a will.
It's just been a lot going on.
I
recently.
agree.
Just
I
give me a month or two of like nothing.
Notice I said nothing about balance, by the way, because if
Yeah.
the game was balanced, no one would play it. Because everyone would be like, man, this is just a coin flip every time.
Yeah. Princess Barry gets done when her bells are out. They will follow her around. Not anymore. We fixed it. Either in this patch or in the next patch. It's been fixed.
It is being worked on. Yeah, it should be in potentially. Bless it.
I should pick an actual question. Will the Master Recolors ever get the golden skin art from Smite 1? Probably not. We do have... So those are... There's only one that's directly brought over that uses the same... Basically the same skin color, right? The Onyx is very similar to the old Legendary. It is different, but the other ones we would have to redo the skin art for. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but when you have, there's 70 gods now, I think, in Smite 2, times 4 skins, that's times, like a couple hours of skin.
Yeah.
Like, it's like weeks of somebody's time to bring that over with relatively low upside. Maybe if there's some distant point in the future where we're bored and looking for things to do, sure. But
love to see that world.
Yeah, I would love to see that world.
That'd be a great world.
Yeah, I just like when you think about the amount of time it would actually take to do it versus how much it improves the game.
Yeah.
I think that time would be better spent on other things right now.
Well, we appreciate you all hanging out on this Wednesday. Reminder Friday, we'll be back for our final Titan talk.
Yeah.
Get will release, and we'll see you then, I guess. Yeah. All right. Well, take care, everybody. If we don't see you beforehand, we'll see you on the battlegrounds.